When we first started, we didn't have any plan really. We just took it day to day. I mean, we started a rock band for what most people start rock bands for, to play music, have tons of sex, and have a great time. And that's what we joined for really, and that's what we did for a long time. And it's a great life if you're lucky enough to have success early on in your career. It is a great life, really. I wouldn't really change it for anything. And we had some great times, really. The first album was very mixed. It was quite laid back and quite aggressive at the same time, really. So it wasn't until Wheels of Steel that the sound actually came together. And I suppose it was a cross between Deep Purple, AC/DC, Pink Floyd, all the bands of the 60s and 70s really was thrown into the melting pot with our style of music, and songs like Wheels of Steel and 747, which were quite big hits off that album, were basically just great rock songs. Basically 3 minutes with a great hook, great verse, and people could sing along to them. And I think that's still probably the same today, really. We sort of went to our management at the time, who were actually pretty good actually, they were just a bit greedy. But they sent us off to Wales, to some farm where people lived in teepees. It was a bizarre place to go, and we actually were shut in there during winter with snowdrifts 15 foot high, and we actually wrote Wheels of Steel, and it was a strange time. I remember it was so cold, we had to put the radiators in bed with us. It was like really cold, and it must have cost about £25 a day or something, some cheap old thing. But it actually worked because, English people generally do actually do well when they're sort of underdog, really. It was a mixture between sort of timing, some talent, and a lot of luck. And probably 50% luck, I would think. I think luck has a big thing to play because we could have easily got forgotten. And but I think Wheels of Steel was such a powerful album for people. It was such a sort of fresh sounding album that didn't really delve into big Hammond organ solos and things, and generally self-indulgence. We sort of went straight for the heart, we just wrote great rock songs, and more in the spirit of sort of AC/DC, that type of thing. We weren't really trying to emulate the older bands. So the very first tour we did was Slade. We did half their tour, and Def Leppard did the other half, and it was a very strange tour. Lovely guys, but a university tour, 2,000 people packed, but the crowd didn't really know what we were, and it was a good. But then the next tour was the Motorhead, and they looked after us absolutely fantastic. Actually, we travelled on their bus with them, which was like unique up to that point, and Lemmy, and they just generally took us on board and told all their fans to buy a record. So it was a great move, really, and again, timing. They could have had anybody, and it was the Bomber tour. It was a massive tour. Eagles are used a lot to represent, freedom and sort of, just being able to basically just go off and do what you like. And people have sort of, taken the eagle on board, really. It is our symbol, just as much as the Saxon S, which is the two axes intertwined. But yeah, it was just an idea somebody had that took off, really. And recently we brought it back, obviously at the Wacken Festival, and it was great. The old fans all had a tear in their eye for it, and the younger fans were like, "Whoa!" It's totally. It is awesome when it comes down with all the lights on, definitely. it's just a period, like a cocoon period of that 80s where everybody was happening, you know. And the people that weren't happening didn't really make it, unfortunately, because the songwriting and the bands were so good, there wasn't really room for poor or mediocre bands, really. I'm not a sort of nostalgic freak, you know what I'm saying? I don't really want to go back to them days, because I think, you know, you have to live for the present. But, you know, we were a very big band in the 80s, and we do, you know, that lineage of history that was within the band we feel very strongly about. I think our live shows are, you know, are totally different to our album, you know, sort of performances, because everything's much more powerful. And, you know, we have a lot of emphasis, like I said before, we have a lot of emphasis on entertainment within the band. And, you know, to come and see a live show is an experience, because each show is different. You know, I don't keep to a set list all the time. I mean, the band hate me for it, but, you know, we have a floating song, so I may pick any song any night, depending on how I feel. If I feel particularly mischievous, then I'll pick a song the band don't particularly know very well and just throw it in, just to see what happens. And most of the times they play through it, you know. The support of fans is the most important thing, because even if you play, you know, we have played some shows in our past, you know, that had like 200 people or, you know, 100 people in something. As long as the fans are great fans, then it doesn't matter. The loyalty of the fans to a rock band is unique to that type of music, I think. I don't think that in any other type of music, other than rock music, there is a sort of devotion of fans. It's odd, because in pop music, you know, the fans change from band to band. Whatever's sort of in at the moment, the fans will go and see. But they soon forget it, you know, whereas rock fans tend to be more loyal. They tend to be more sort of, yeah, you seem to be more sort of, you can rely on them a lot more. We have, you know, managed to keep quite a lot of our old fans, and we have pulled quite a lot of teenage fans along the way now, so we're very lucky now. We have a very mixed audience of young fans and the older fans, so as we stand and speak today, then the band are looking very healthy. I'd like to thank our fans all around the world, really, for supporting us for 21 years since we've been making albums, and it's been a brilliant ride, and we're still enjoying it, and I hope everybody else is. Cool. And it's the conflicts of people's different, you know, inspirational things that cause you to write a song a certain way. So I don't think it's good to be just sat around smoking and like smiling and writing some song. I think there has to be a certain, you know, urgency and a certain, like I say, a competition between members, because I think that's what makes a great band, really, to write. So our writing sessions are quite hard work, and the chemistry within the band is very good, especially between the guitarists, because in a rock band, the guitarists are really the main sort of thrust comes from the guitarists, and it's important to have two guitarists that are sympathetic. We do experiment all the time, and I do experiment with lower singing things, you know, which are more darker. So yeah, we've taken on that side of it, and more of a, you know, for the more extreme bands, because it's cool, you know, to sing low sometimes instead of screaming your bollocks off all the time. It sometimes gets a bit too much, so we like to mix it up a bit. The guitarists, you know, Nibs and Doug do bring a younger side to the music, to the band, and they are influenced more. You know, Nibs is a massive Slayer fan, so he will bring that with him, obviously, and you know, things like that. You know, I mean, the guitarists will listen to you know, the more modern bands and bring those sounds and riffs to us. But we always Saxonize them anyway, so the influences within Saxon are very hard to find. There's quite a few reasons. With the re-recorded classics, I wanted to sort of give the fans a thank you gift, basically, with the album. There are so many compilations come out of our greatest hits, in brackets, that I think it's about time we release one ourselves, what we thought were our greatest hits. So we call it our classics, really. And you know, it's songs like Princess of the Night and Crusader. And we haven't really changed them much. We've just re-recorded them with a more modern sound, really. That's it. It's hard to say why we've been, you know, we've stayed together so long and lasted so long. I think it's a combination of things. I think it's a naivety that we still retain. That sometimes we should say, you know, fuck off, we're not doing that. But there's always something behind you that says, no, don't do that, you know. I think we have written some great albums along the way, and we've always tended to come up with a good album when things were getting a bit rough. We always came up with a great album, and I just think sticking together and staying true to your musical roots, really, and playing to an audience that is always your audience and always will be your audience, and not trying to diversify too much. I think that's the secret. I don't really have any regrets. I mean, I would do a few things different, perhaps. But everybody would, wouldn't they, in retrospect? Everybody would do something different. Everybody would either, you know, there are some things you can't change, you know. You can't change the way you look. And sometimes you can't change, you know, how you write songs. You write songs in 1985, and somebody in 1989 will say, well, that wasn't very good, or that was great. How long can we last? Oh dear. I don't know. I think maybe, I don't know really, but I don't know. We'd probably get back to the top and pack in. That'd be good, wouldn't it? That'd be cool, yeah. Yeah, maybe a couple, 2-3 years maybe. I've got a few years left in us yet. But I don't really know really. I don't really spend too much time thinking about it. But I suppose in the next 4 or 5 years we would probably have to stop. Maybe not, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Keep tuned to this station.